If you want to keep up with what's going on in AI and jobs, then this is the only series you need to watch. Each month, I break down the biggest stories on how AI is impacting work. And for February, we have 5 great stories that give us deep insight into what's actually going on. The first is a Harvard Business Review article that suggests that instead of reducing work, AI is in fact intensifying it. And this is based on an 8-month study inside a 200-person US technology company where employees were not mandated to use AI, but it was available. And they found 3 patterns. The first was task expansion. Because AI reduces knowledge gaps, people began taking on work that previously sat with other roles. Product managers were writing code, or salespeople were writing blogs. Individuals were absorbing work that might otherwise justify recruitment or be passed on to colleagues. The second pattern was about blurred boundaries. AI reduced the friction of starting tasks, so workers began prompting during breaks or in meetings late at night or early in the mornings. It didn't feel like extra work, it felt like progress. And the third was more multitasking. AI introduced parallel workflows, and people ran multiple threads at once, checked outputs continuously, revived deferred tasks, and juggled more open loops. So productivity felt higher, but of course the cognitive load went up as well. And the effect was self-reinforcing. Faster completion, raised expectations for speed, higher expectations, increased reliance on AI, wider scope then followed. So employees reported feeling more productive, but also more busy. So that's one signal. AI doesn't necessarily give people time back, but it can expand the workload. The second story is a fascinating story, and it's about this website called Rentahuman. Autonomous AI agents can now hire humans to do physical world tasks that they can't perform themselves. So while AI agents are capable in digital environments, they still can't do things like pick up parcels or walk around a building and inspect it, or just carry out basic errands. And this is what Rentahuman is supposed to solve. It's essentially a marketplace where a bot can post a task and a person accepts it, a bit like a gig work platform, with the client being the software rather than a human. And what's interesting is that the early examples look less like serious automation and more like a kind of messy bridge between AI and the real world. But the bigger implication is real. As AI systems become better at planning and coordinating work, we may see more human labor organized, directed, and quality checked by software, even when the actual work still has to be done by people. The third story is about HR teams, which are drowning in AI-generated grievances. And they're really struggling to deal with the volume and the poor quality of these because they really are slop. Employees are using AI to draft complaints, but they're also picking up unrealistic expectations about the strength of their claims, or they're getting hallucinated advice and presenting it as if it's solid. And if you remember the AI slop idea, the point is that AI doesn't just create more content, it also shifts the workload because people produce confidently wrong output, send it, and then the burden is now moved to the recipient who has to work out what's true and what's relevant and what's actually being suggested here. So this dynamic is now showing up in grievance processes, which is fascinating because it turns what should be a serious evidence-based process into a noisy, high-friction one where HR has to do extra interpretation and triage just to get to the facts. My fourth story is about AI adoption becoming a promotion metric, and this relates to the consulting company Accenture. Accenture is reportedly tracking weekly AI tool usage among senior employees and tying adoption directly to career progression. So apparently junior staff have embraced AI quite quickly, but senior partners have lagged, and that's been common across the industry. So AI usage is now being treated as a visible input in leadership reviews, particularly for associate directors who want promotion. Accenture also says that hundreds of thousands of its employees have now done AI training, and it has said before that it will exit employees who don't want to reskill. That's interesting because when we talk about job disruption, we often focus on entry-level roles, but adoption pressure is actually moving upward. My final story is about self-driving trucks. Aurora Innovation has announced that its autonomous trucks can now complete a 1,000-mile haul in 15 hours, which the CEO calls superhuman. And it's not because of the technology in the trucks specifically, but it's because under federal rules, human drivers can only drive for 11 hours before they need a 10-hour rest period. So a 1,000-mile route needs 2 drivers or an overnight stop. And autonomous trucks don't have those constraints because, of course, they don't need to sleep or rotate or rest. they can just continue. So the commercial implications are massive here because there are driver shortages and labor is a major operating cost. So they're looking at 30 to 40% potential reductions in the cost, but they're still testing. So we don't know what the actual real world implications will be. It's still being tested, but it is very interesting. When I shared the stuff with ChatGPT, it gave me a terrible, terrible ending to my video. So I'm just going to end with, please do subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, because I do share content every week on what's going on in the AI space and how it might affect you.